Corrina.
Hi, Anne. Thank you so much for having me here, inviting me to chat with you.
No, thanks for accepting. It's an honor. I've been to quite a lot of your webinars. I really like the way that you bring heart into marketing, and I think it's really good the way you can. Well, I think you could help a lot of my community and small business owners. And I would like to ask you a few questions about this, but first maybe it would be good if you introduced yourself and said a bit more about what you do, what your business is, and who you are.
Yeah. So I trained as a coach many years ago. And when I became a coach, I was so full of enthusiasm, like, oh my gosh, I want to just share this with everybody. And what happened was I started to get clients, and lots of other coaches that I trained with didn't. So I was like, okay, what's happening? Why am I getting clients and they're not? It's not that I'm a better coach than them. Something else was going on. And it was because I really got excited about marketing. I read every marketing blog I could read. I learned this art of marketing that I didn't know before. And that's what's made the difference between me being able to have a full-time business doing what I love and so many people not having that. So I now make it my mission to teach marketing to people who wouldn't otherwise maybe learn marketing. You know, it's not like they wake up and go, oh, I want to learn marketing today. It's like I have a passion, and how do I reach more people and help more clients? So I teach 2 online courses, and I also run networking events in London as well. Yeah, and the website is youinspireme.co.uk. That's the where we live is youinspireme.co.uk.
And I'm sure you inspire a lot of people.
Well, you know, the funny thing is the name means you inspire me, right? I am inspired by all these people who are doing these amazing things, and I want them to not be the world's best kept secret. So the you is actually you, not me.
That's clever. See?
I woke up with it one day. I was like, this phrase, this you inspire, I said it again and again. You know, I was talking to a client and it's like, you inspire me. You really inspire me. So it's like, make that the business name.
It's a fantastic name, but also it fits you very much.
Thank you.
I think that's why it rings true. So I've got a list of questions that people ask me quite often as I help them. So, you know, we do the 10 to 8 appointment management system, and I wonder whether you would mind sharing tips that could help them.
Sure.
One of them is, a lot of them, they report back to me that 10 to 8 makes them look professional and that it makes a big difference to their business. And as a marketing expert, I've listened to some of the webinars you do specifically around the customer journey.
Yeah.
Could you share a bit about this? I think it's... I just think...
Yeah. So people sometimes think, okay, so I need to get clients, so I'll go to a networking event and boom, I'll get clients. And the customer journey that I see is, I see it as a flow of people going from strangers to paying clients. So someone starts off, they're a complete stranger of yours. And where they go next is that they become vaguely interested in you. Just vaguely, like, yeah, okay, I know 10 to 8. I know this massage therapist. Yeah, vaguely interested. Then something needs to get that person actively interested. So for me, often, you know, that's blogging, that's giving a talk, that's being on social media, doing videos, doing interviews like this. So just to be thinking about for your own business, like what is going to take someone from stranger to vaguely interested, and then from vaguely interested to actively interested. And then once someone is actively interested, what inspires them to become ready to act and ready to pay? And in terms of people, you know, looking professional, for me, it's about safety. So what is going to help that business owner, going to help you to to create safety for your ideal client so that they feel safe to go from stranger all the way through to paying client. And we can create safety through how our website looks and feels, through how our booking system looks and feels, and through how we communicate. So for me, my big thing is blogging, blogging in such a way that creates safety.
That's true. Yeah. And so, yeah, I guess that's why when they start with 10 to 8, because they didn't expect that. They didn't expect that safety factor. And a lot of them remark at it because they hadn't thought about it, I think, but it is quite important. So thanks for the explanation.
I remember really clearly being on a massage table, face down, having a lovely massage from someone, and her phone kept ringing constantly throughout the session, because how she arranged her appointments was by phone, and she didn't have anyone there to answer them. And it didn't make me as a client of hers lying on that table, I didn't feel very safe. It felt like there were these constant intrusions. And as someone who wants to book a massage, it doesn't feel very safe that you ring and you never know when you're going to get through to someone. It just doesn't feel very smooth. So yeah, thinking about the journey that a potential customer goes on, and at what point they would actually give up and put the phone down and walk away and find someone else.
Yeah, making it easy, basically.
Always about making it easy for the customer.
So you get them, and blogging makes them feel comfortable, and then when they're ready, they can book, and you make it easy at this stage. Okay,
it's like, let's say you want to buy, I don't know, a new set of plates, let's say, okay, and you've got John Lewis, you know John Lewis. It's sat there in the, wherever it is you live, day after day. It feels very reliable, very safe, very familiar. Versus, a new shop that's just popped up that you can't really quite enter, and people are never there. It's just not going to feel as safe. You want to be the business that people know, like, and trust, and that when they buy from you, it feels like doing business with a friend.
Yeah. Last time I came to your webinar, you were talking about KLT.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not KFC or it's KLT, the know, like, and trust factor. That and we can nothing that I say take as being true. I can really investigate it for yourself. I do business with people who I get to know, I get to like, and I trust. And I think without any of those factors, I wouldn't really give anyone my money. And this is true for our potential clients as well.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's basically people come to me, they say, okay, book now on my on my website, and then they say, why is nobody pressing it? And I think that's where you can help them a lot with your tips, because unless you build that KLT, and however you build it, that's kind of depends on who you are, what you feel comfortable with. But I like the way you always say it needs to ring true, it needs to come from the heart.
Yeah.
I think it's true. But once you've found that way, then they will feel happy to book you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can imagine it. If I right now went up to you and said, press this button, I'm like, I don't know what this button is. What am I pressing? What's going to happen when I press that button? Whereas if we've been having conversations over time and we feel really like warmed up, we've become in relationship, it makes sense that, oh yeah, okay, I'll press that button. My best friends, of course, would just press a button if I said press a button. It's that kind of connection and resonance that we're looking for when we're marketing with our ideal clients.
Yeah, it's like me the first time. I think you were the presenter at the first ever networking event I attended in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And you were talking about blogging, and I had never heard this word in my life.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why on earth should I be doing this to market my business?
Mm-hmm.
And who's this woman? And she's really interesting to listen to. She's really passionate. And there's so many women around the room saying, oh, you need to do this, ladies, you really need to do it, will be the best thing ever. But it takes some time to get to understand. And then I came to one webinar and 2 webinars and another event you did, and then I felt, yeah, I could see what she's the business.
Yeah. And so it's that investment, really as a business owner, investing in long-term relationships with our potential clients. I see so many people who think, right, I've put my website up, people need to buy. It's like, you've got to work harder than that. You've got to earn their trust. You've got to earn their interest and earn that sale.
Yep, I agree. There's another point you brought up in the last webinar was about valuing your time.
Yeah.
And how small business owners, sometimes they forget that. And I come across it all the time because I always get the question about, should I have a cancellation policy? Why is it important? Where should I put it? Don't you think it's a bit harsh? No. So if you have any tips around this, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for me is having a policy, having a very, very clear cancellation policy up front that leaves nobody in any doubt as to the situation, and then it's not emotive, it's not personal. Someone has read the policy, and then you simply implement it. It's the classic kind of advice I trained as a teacher. That again, in order to create safety, it's really important that you follow through it with what you say you're going to do. So if you have, let's say, a 24-hour or a 12-hour cancellation policy, you must implement that. As much for the client as for you, because you are showing yourself to be someone who is true to your word. If you don't do that, people don't know where they stand with you, and actually that can really break down trust. And it's absolutely valid to have a charge for cancellation. If you've had to pay for a therapy room or a workspace in some way, if it's meant that you haven't been able to take on another client, it's really, really valid that that person shares the cost with you, at least shares it. It might be that you have, if you cancel within this time, maybe they pay 50%. So there's a kind of sharing of the cost of that. Or it's just a complete 100%, you've paid for it, and within 24 hours, if you cancel, then, if, I don't know, I always like to think about other industries. If I booked a theatre ticket or a concert ticket and I can't go, even if it's because I'm sick or if it's because someone has, in my family has had an accident, I can't phone that ticket company and say I'd like my money back. It's just what happens, that we do lose out sometimes on things that we've paid for if stuff happens. And I really think that we need to be firmer about that as business owners. So it's not us that always loses out when things happen and someone has to cancel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they feel embarrassed about, and they're helpful people. They went normally into this business because they want to help other people. And somehow customers, well, they take benefit of that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, the business owner lets themselves be taken advantage of. If thinking about times, where I just haven't been firm. It's not good for me, it's not good for them. And it becomes personal, because it becomes like, oh, do I want to be helpful today? Do I not want to be helpful? Do I want to be kind? It's not about that. It's just, this is the policy. And you knew that when you registered for this session or these sessions or the workshop, whatever it is that the person is booking. So it's just very matter of fact, and you can stay then in complete loving connection with the client without feeling resentful or scratchy because you've lost out on money. Yeah. It's a kind thing. It's a kind and generous thing. It's a kind and generous thing to set up policies that enable you to stay self-employed in the long term as well. It's not doing anybody any favors if you go out of business because you're not making enough money to cover your costs.
That's correct. Yeah, in the long term, that's right. there's another thing which is quite related. When people start using 10 to 8, they tell me that one of the advantages is the kind of barrier it puts between them and rejection from customers. So before, if they take all their bookings on the phone, if people call them and cancel at the last minute, or just say, oh no, that's not for me, I don't want this, they take that really to heart.
Yeah.
And I know that when you talk about how to handle this better, I think for a lot of people that would be quite useful to hear this.
Yeah, I remember when I used to run my email list, and it's kind of parallel. When I used to run my email list from my Gmail account, which is not what you should be doing at all. This was in my very early days before I learned about, permission marketing and opt-in emails and what we need to be doing properly and legally with business. And when someone wanted to unsubscribe from my newsletter, they had to write me an email, a personal email, hi Corrina, I'd like to unsubscribe. And it would be like, oh, they're rejecting me. Oh, it hurts. And when I moved to an automated system, which is, much better, there's no personal interaction about that. So the person just clicks unsubscribe, and that's it. They've gone. And the same is true, of course, with bookings. Someone can cancel, or someone can book or not book. And you're right. It takes that the kind of the hook in the heart out, I think, of the process. And there's work we can do around looking at our stories about rejection and people not liking us. We can certainly do that as well. But an automated booking system certainly makes it feel less personal.
And do you think it's important for people to set up these kind of systems if they are passionate, helpful, wanting to help people?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, there used to be a whole module actually in one of the courses that I teach about systems. Systems like PayPal, like online booking system, like contact forms on your website, like, all these things that make what it does when we deal with human emotion, which we often do in coaching and massage and yoga, all these kind of things. It means that we can just focus on that in our sessions. We don't have to be focusing on that in the business logistics. The logistics can be more automated. They can be more kind of set and forget. And we can focus on what we really want to be focusing on, which is with connection with people.
Okay, that's really good. I have one last question.
Yeah.
A lot of what you do is about blogging.
Yes.
And you're passionate about this, and you're the queen of bloggers.
Thank you.
Why do you think is the best way to build that trust that we were talking about earlier?
Because it's about showing up consistently. So anything else that you do, let's say I give talks, okay? Let's say I go through the UK giving talks everywhere. That's great, but once I've seen someone once and then I go away, there's a big chance they're going to forget me. So there's no way of staying in touch with people, and because marketing is about relationship building, it's about communication over the long term. Blogging is something which works while you're asleep. I have people join my courses, like the Blog for Clients course that we're currently right now open for enrollment of, who have been receiving my emails for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Every week, every 2 weeks, they get that email, and it's meant that when they then sign up, they're completely sure it's for them. They often then go to sign up for my other course as well. They come to the networking events. But if I'd just given a talk and gone away, they would, probably have forgotten me, I would say. But I've stayed connected. I've stayed in their mind. And because I get really excited about blogging, and blogging enables you to know what to offer as well. So it's not just marketing. When you put a blog out, you see how it lands with your community. You see the kind of comments that you get. And you see, okay, my community want community. They don't just want the how-to, they want community. So that's inspired me to make sure that every thing I offer now has an element of community, that it's about coming together in a sense of belonging and exploring together as much as it is just, learn the action steps.
And why do you think it's particularly relevant for small businesses?
Because it's your chance to connect heart to heart, one to one. You are there. The image that I always have is like you as a blogger are there at your computer, whether you're doing typing blogs, you're video recording blogs. You're the guardian angel for that person who's at the other end receiving it. And the way that I teach blogging, you blog for one person. So I would write, "Hey, Anne," and then I would, do my blog to you, Anne, not to thousands of people, just to you, Anne. So it really creates a sense of intimacy and connection that is perfect for the small business.
Okay, yeah, and also it doesn't cost them much, because a lot of them, it's and it's something they can do outside of their working hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter whether you're good at writing or video or audio. There's an option for all of those. So you're either going to have a written blog, you're going to do videos on YouTube and have them maybe on your blog as well, or you're going to do a podcast if you want to do audio. But the same blogging principles apply whatever the medium. So there's nobody who can't, write, speak, or be visible. Everyone can do one of those. So blogging is for everybody.
Okay. So thank you, Corrina.
My pleasure, Anne.
That's the end of my questions. Is there any other tip you think you would like to add at the end of our talk?
Yeah, the tip that I would give is around stillness. So there's so much, we're recording this just before Christmas as well, there's so much chaos and noise when it comes to online businesses and online marketing and social media and blogging, all of this stuff. And if we're going to enter that field, for me it's very important to find stillness, to connect with a sense of peace and safety for ourselves as business owners. That has nothing to do with how many clients we have, the money in our bank account, the number of people in our 10 to 8 booking system. These are all wonderful, and we don't get our sense of peace and stillness and safety from those. We have that unconditionally, and it's unshakable. So whatever's going to get you there, if it's meditation, if it's a process like yoga or running or just sitting quietly with yourself, so important that that's our come from when we are putting ourselves out there.
Okay, and for people who want to, so we'll put a link to your website, and on the website they will find the list of the webinars you give. There's the blogs they can sign up to if they want to get your tips and see how your community benefits from what you do with them. I find that really useful, the way you have every month you do. They made the step when about when you do a blog with one person in your community who started their own business. I really like these ones.
They're brilliant. They're called Take the Leap. We started it this year. Madeline, who's in my team, she actually does those every month. We take one person who has taken the leap into self-employment, and she will interview them and find out what their story is. So they're really, really good to read. Yeah, definitely come over and take a look at those on the site.
Good. So we'll do that, and if people have more questions, they can then contact you directly.
Yeah, for sure. Through the website will be perfect. And also I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well. You might put the links below, or otherwise people can find those through the website as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Corrina.
Thank you, Anne.
See you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.